Hey guys, so today we're going to be discussing tips for university, for note-taking and other things like that. I did film another video but it didn't really record properly, so hopefully this works better. Don't mind the background, don't mind how I look right now, I just came home from work, so right onto this video, here we go. First thing that you need to take into consideration for each one of your papers is all of the things that you're going to be doing in that paper. So like assignments, tests, an exam, things like that. Even quizzes, online quizzes and things like that. That would give you a good idea of how you're meant to set out your notes. And I know this sounds really silly when I say that because it's kind of something that should be kind of self-explanatory. How you set out your notes is something that really affects the way that you perform in each paper, so you need to take all those things into consideration. If I was taking a paper that required an online quiz, I'd usually type it up, and in fact I actually type up all of my notes now. So setting out your notes is actually a really important bit. So what I do is I use Microsoft OneNote, and I make a book for each subject or each paper, and then each week is a different section, and then each section in those weeks I will have a page and it'll be like lecture, tutorial, reading, maybe extra notes, and that's 1 week. And it's just a lot easier for me to go back and look at, oh, what did I do in this tutorial and things like that. In terms of quizzes, this would help because each quiz is usually based on what you've learned that week. So you just read through the whole thing and maybe even do like a little cheat sheet or something like that. Keep it to about a page, maybe page and a half to 2 pages, and then just go through, read through everything, and then attempt the quiz. That would help you be the most prepared for a weekly quiz. Also, taking notes of readings is really important as well, because when you read something or read a chapter, you're like, okay, I know what I'm doing, I've read this, I understand everything. But then if someone were to ask you about what did you read in this chapter, what did you hear about in this chapter, what did you learn in this chapter, and you probably wouldn't remember. And that is why it is so important to take notes when you're reading. This is something that I still have to teach myself or learn from my mistakes, as every time I read something I don't always take notes. In terms of assignments, the way that I just explained to take notes would help you in that way as well, because sometimes assignments are just like, okay, the assignment will require material from like weeks 3, 4 and 5, and then all you need to do is just go through weeks 3, 4 and 5 and then find all the information for your lectures, your tutorials, and then for your readings as well, and then just write your assignment based on that. It's really easy to kind of source where... Is that a bug on my screen? No, it's not. Okay. Is it? It looks like a bug. Okay, anyway. It's really easy to source your information and to know where you need to get things from when you have it all set out like that. It makes your job a whole lot easier. And sometimes making a cheat sheet for each week will help you when it comes to exam time, because it doesn't seem like much now, but even just like summarizing the whole thing that you learned in that week would be very helpful, and you'd like look back and you'd be like, thank goodness I wrote this down. Because it's like, when you're reading for exams, you don't have time to read through every single topic, do you? You don't have time to go through and read all the readings that you did during your whole paper. You only have time to read your lecture notes, and sometimes that's not good enough. I mean, if you really want a really good grade, like if we're looking at A+, that's usually not good enough. That's why it's really important to do readings, lectures, and tutorial notes, and then do a summary of all of that. So instead of reading all of that material, you have a summary, and then from that summary you can be like, okay, I don't know what this means, and then go back to where it says this in your notes. And that's why I use OneNote as well, because you just go Control-F and it just comes out, like you just search up keywords and it comes up with all the things that has that keyword. And sometimes lecturers will be very helpful, and they'll tell you, okay, so this particular topic will be in your exam, and it's usually stuff that they've covered, so you can go back and check. Another thing is lecture notes. You should probably type out everything, and I mean, you type things out. You don't type things out and then go back to handwritten and then you go back to typing things out, because that makes keeping track of what you've done and keeping track of what you've learnt a lot more difficult in that way. If you type everything out and then after that you kind of just go through and be like, okay, this all makes sense, that's fine, that's good enough. Don't copy every single word on the lecture slide. A lot of the time they over explain things, and if it's something that you already know and you don't feel like you really need to go into detail, you don't have to go into detail, because it's just like, if you're going to go and revise all of this stuff later and you go through, you're going to be like, why did I write so much? Like, it's just going to be a lot more work for you to go through and write and like read everything that you've written, because it's been such a long process. Especially your major subjects, or subjects that you have to do with second level or third level compared to the first level, you should probably keep your notes for those, because what happens is it builds on the ideas that you learned in your first level paper. So it's good to organize your notes in that way, and that's why I prefer to use OneNote, because I'm not sponsored. I can keep everything not on my laptop, but just on the web, and like not have to have my laptop out with me and not have to print things out and things like that. Like, I can if I want to, but like I don't have to like keep printouts or keep books with me. Like, I find that that's the easier way for me to work things out and to go through material and be like, okay, we've covered this. Another thing is, I know OneNote you can like do what is it called, PDF printouts, I think. Don't do that, just type out your notes, because later on when you go and print them out, they're not going to print properly, and then you're just going to waste time formatting everything, making all the PDFs smaller. It just doesn't work that way. What else am I missing? Another useful tip is to keep your assignments as well, because sometimes assignments kind of interlink. In first year papers especially, they explain more things to you. So like they explain to you how to set things out, things like that. In your second year, it's really good to go back and be able to look at that and be like, okay, so this is what I did and this is the grade I got. So it would be good to bring that to this paper, but also step it up a bit, like explain things a little bit more, be more clear. And with not having every single bit of your notes on your computer, if anything happens to your computer, you don't have to be worried about losing everything. That's a really, really, really important thing to remember. If you have written everything down, then if you lost your notebook, what are you going to do? Like, that's all of your notes gone. Another thing that you need to take into consideration as well is that you don't always want to bring your laptop to uni, because, I don't know, maybe you have only one lecture and you don't want to be lugging a laptop around or something like that. If you use something like OneNote, you can download an app, or even Google Docs, you can download the app for it on your phone and just sit there and type it out on your phone. If it's easier for you, it'll make sense. Also, if you don't have your laptop with you, you can access your notes on there, so it's not like it's only on my notebook which I left at home and it's on my bed. Like, it saves you in that way, and I think it's really good in that sense as well, because sometimes, say when you're in the lecture and they are showing you a diagram and for some reason that diagram isn't in the lecture notes. That has happened so many times to me, and you're able to take a photo of it and you can just upload it from your phone onto Google Docs or onto Microsoft OneNote, instead of having to, I don't know, airdrop it to your laptop if you have an iPhone or something like that. I just find it easier that way. So you just take a photo and just put it up. Like, sometimes lecturers do that, so it is kind of a helpful thing to do in that situation. I hope this video has helped someone in some way. Let me know if you guys want me to do more videos like this. I know I haven't done a video like this in a while, or any kind of video like this, any kind of video in a while.